And now, live from Fiserv Forum, here's Justin Garcia.
113-1-99, the final score tonight. The Bucks defense holding the Utah Jazz under 100 points. They pick up a much-needed win, but not to be the wet blanket here. A much-needed win, sure, but was it too late? Is this ultimately going to be too little too late for this Bucks team, who is still 4 games back of the Atlanta Hawks in the loss column, 3 back of the Charlotte Hornets in the loss column in the Eastern Conference standings? 855-616-1620. That is the Siding Unlimited talk and text line if you want to join us tonight on Bucks Talk and share your thoughts, whether or not this is all for naught and it's going to be too little too late, especially given the results of the game against Atlanta just the other night. I think I know the answer here, but our first caller of the night is looking to chime in on that and a handful of other things. So let's start things by going out to the phone lines and checking in with Dick in Port Washington. I think I know where you're at, Dick, but we'll start with this question. Too little too late?
Well, too little would be in my response. This game, Utah is anybody that sees these guys, it should be an exhibition game. And we still had trouble beating them. It's fool's gold if anybody thinks this means anything. And that brings me to the reason I'm calling here. And again, I want to preface this to the fact that I think Giannis is gone, and we need to keep that in mind. But I thought Lori Nichols' column this week in the Milwaukee Journal, I was going to ask your opinion of that. I assume you read it. I think it was the best summary of what has happened to the Bucks. And it's analogous to the Titanic going down, Everyone's pushing forward that this is a great ship's going to moving forward. Well, she took it apart bit by bit, from coaching to players to management to owners. I thought it was a great summary. And to me, I guess I like it because it bolsters my argument that it's time to move on. But I always say it's time to move on from Giannis, but at the same time, I'd be okay with if he would stay. But I was wondering if you read it and what your thoughts are on this article.
I don't. So I read one of Laurie's pieces. I don't know if it was this one that you're referencing. I don't.
Okay. Well, there was one right after a game, and then the next day it was published. It's entitled "Bucks Should Play Hard, but Playoffs Are Distracting Fool's Gold." And she had a great interview with Bobby Portis in there, explaining what really has happened. And on another TV station tonight that I won't get into, they also discussed this, that we all got excited because we won these games, but it was fool's goals. It's teams that weren't good or trying to lose, and we build ourselves up that we could actually do something here. For me, this was a bad night because we won. I want to try to get the highest draft pick we can get. And any victories we got that pushes us or keeps us in the 10th position isn't going to help us.
Can I interject?
I just
quick?
think, sure, go ahead. Anything. Yeah, it's your show.
Utah was never going to let you lose this game tonight.
True.
Look at how they handled the fourth quarter. This is what they've done in just about every game so far this season. So, there should not be much to take from this game tonight because you won, and the final score shows you won by 14 points. But this was a competitive game, and you had to fight them off to get there for a team that was down a handful of guys. They've already shut down Jaren Jackson Jr. They've shut down Yusuf Nurkic. They've shut down Lauri Markkanen. Everyone but Keontae George and Ace Bailey, who's just been okay this season up until that big game against the Wizards earlier in the week. Everyone else that's been an impactful player, Utah shut them down. And those two guys, they didn't play, we thought, at all in the fourth quarter until the final 4 minutes that they finally came in. So, yes, you won the game and you won by double figures, but it was a struggle to get there. Utah was never going to let you win this for that reason alone. And while I hear what you're saying on, look, at this point you're too far back and you should just be playing to enhance the odds of your lottery selection, that's another one in that it's too far gone. Even if you actively tried to lose games right now, the separation between you and moving anything further down than, so right now the Bucks have the 10th best odds. Realistically, the lowest you can sink is the 8th best odds, because Dallas is too far behind you. New Orleans is way too far behind you. Same story for Utah now, as Utah, New Orleans, Washington, Brooklyn, Indiana, Sacramento, all of those teams have at least 10 more losses than you. You're not catching those teams. Even if you actively try to lose games the remainder of the season, guess what? They're doing the same thing. So you're not going to fall back to that level. You might be able to drop back to the 8th best odds in the lottery. And, same thing people are going to point to and say, you really should have embraced this coming out of the All-Star break. I mean, I'm willing to listen to that and say, look, if we have this aligned view, this is how we're building going forward, this is what we need to do, and we have communicated this to Giannis, and we have told him, we want you to be a part of this next year, but we have to do this to increase what we can do in terms of getting impactful players through the draft, and there's other things that we can do. You know what? Fine. If there's a collective message that's being sent out, this is how we're going to handle it, okay. That 8-2 record right around the All-Star break, it didn't necessarily sink your chances there, but it didn't help, because I believe what the other teams around them did, I went back and looked at the standings on that day when the Bucks started that 8 wins in 10 games, and I think you basically shaved 3 games off of there for teams like Indiana and Sacramento and Brooklyn, the lower drag teams. You shaved about 3 games off of the difference between you and them, or added, I should say. So it basically meant you're not going to drop any lower, or you can't drop into the bottom 4 spots. But that's even tricky, too, when we talk about fool's gold, because you can't get the number 1 pick anyway. It increases your chances of picking in the top 4, but, what happens when it increases so much that you finish with the 5th best or the 4th best odds, and you get the number 1 pick, and you can't have that, and it goes to Atlanta.
Yeah. It's tonight. I forget where I saw this, but we have a 10% chance to get in the top 2 or top 4, whatever it was. But one of the things I want to clarify is that if we make the play-in tournament and lose, we can still get the 10th. Correct?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's just if you make the play-in tournament and win and get the 8th seed.
Yeah. And the show tonight that I watched, and in this Nichols article, we go back and if you ever go back and play the tapes, because I was all in for getting rid of Griffin, Dr. Griffin, on. But you know what? And this was brought up tonight on the TV show that I watch on Saturday nights, is that his theory, and I guess I never heard him talk about this, but his theory at that point was,
guys are playing now.
The theory then was, we're going to score a lot of points, and you're going to have to score a lot of points to beat us. And when we were up, with the record we had, and you can't turn back the clock, I realize that, but maybe there was something to that theory at that point. You just score a lot of points.
Well,
Go ahead.
His theory wasn't necessarily that, and it wasn't. It had nothing to do with offense. His theory and how he wanted the team to play is basically what every team is doing now. So in that sense, I wouldn't say he was ahead of his time because, obviously he served under guys like Nick Nurse who were doing similar things, but he wanted to bring an aggressive defense that was a ball pressure defense that was going to force turnovers, and that was really the opposite of what this team and that core had done. Under Bud, they didn't play that way. We're going to be a good defensive team, but it's not going to be, that we're a high-pressure team because with that comes fouls and free throws. We're just going to have solid defenders, a really good team scheme, and base defense that we're going to run, and we're not going to foul you. We're going to take away the paint, and we're not going to put you at the free throw line. So it was a pretty big change to go to the aggressive style to force turnovers. But look, you know what the Bucks don't do now? They don't force turnovers, and that's part of the reason why they are constantly in this, possession battle where, again, they won tonight, but they lost. If we look at true shot attempts, it was 102.8 for Utah, 97.3 for the Bucks.
Right, and for a team that's not necessarily trying to win.
Right.
But I will say though, this Griffin thing, once in a while, you can't see the trees because the forest is in the way. But maybe Griffin should have had a longer chance, And she kind of hints that in the article, and maybe Bud should have stuck around longer too. I mean, one of the things that I've taken from this article that I read, and I really wish you'd read it at some point, is that every step of the way, from ownership not showing up, not being there, Horst not giving the media any time at all to talk and ask questions, Giannis doing his little dance, the Bucks just caving to any crave that Giannis had. It's just no wonder why we're in this position, and we're headed for a rebuild that's going to take 5 to 10 years, and that's sad from where we were. I look back on this and the championship year where Giannis got the MVP. I get that, but man, you had Drew Holiday and it just shouldn't have happened. Chris won games. Drew won games.
Let me ask you this, and I think I know the answer. If I would have told you, like, this is what's on the table, you can bring in Damian Lillard and, you can reshape your team this way, Dame and Giannis together. Or you can stay with the same group. And I love Chris Middleton. It was time to move on because of the health issues. He looks great right now with Dallas, but he's got a pretty good team around him, and his role is not like good in terms of record. He's got some good pieces around him. His role is to basically mentor and help bring along Cooper Flagg, and that's the ideal spot for him to be in. But the health was no longer reliable. He wasn't the same guy in the perimeter defensively. There was obviously probably a rush to judgment when I agree with you in that, after that Miami series, that's the moment where you should have let's just take a step back and not do anything irrational here. Let's not make any knee-jerk decisions. Let's just reanalyze how we got here, what we have to do differently. We were still the number 1 seed in the East. Yeah, it's a blemish to lose a first-round series as the number 1 seed, but they were either the 5th team or 5 teams had done it previously. None of those teams fired their head coach after it happened. And, I mean, you go back to our guy who calls the games for us. You go, Virginia loses the tournament as a 1 seed. Did they fire Tony Bennett in the first round? No, they won the tournament. Just, a year or 2 years later. So
I think it was a year later,
yeah. So I do believe part of it started there of let's just wait on this, because you could have what's behind door number 2 of, coaching change, and we can bring in Damian Lillard. Or you can have door number 1 where it's, look, we understand that Chris is no longer the same guy. We understand that Brooke is getting older. We understand that Drew Holiday didn't look like a number 2 option offensively, but he's still a pretty good number 3 option in the playoffs. And he brings you the defense and the leadership and everything else. Would you rather change things, or would you rather just say, you know what, I'm just going to go down with this group? And if it becomes the league has passed them by and they played a different pace, they're too old, fine. But I get to keep watching these guys, and I know they're competitors, and I know what we're going to get. Would you rather stick with that for the last 2-3 years?
Yeah, well, I hear where you're coming from, but I think there's a couple of points here, and I think it kind of played out, is that at that point, I think they were concerned about Giannis leaving.
Yeah.
And so they felt they needed to do something, and that is to get rid of Bud. And there's no way I can prove this or disprove it or whatever. I think he had a lot to say in hiring Dr. Griffin to come in. And then I think he realized there was a mistake, especially when he started carrying a legal pad, he and his brother on the bench, and offering plays. And then I think that he and Damian, they never played a playoff game together, if I'm correct on that. They never did. And the injuries were a part of it. But I still think
they played one, basically. One in some change, wasn't it?
Well, I don't think, I thought it didn't play any, but, I guess when he tore his Achilles, was Giannis playing then?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember. But the point that I want to make here is that I think they panicked, and I know I say this all the time. They didn't learn the lessons that the Packers had going through this. They opted to keep Giannis happy, not realizing that the money they were going to pay him for the extension was going to make him happy. And I think that what Giannis learned in playing with Damian Lillard, and I forget where I heard this or read this, is that he doesn't want to go to a team that has a dominant ball through the guard on the team. You know, he is so used to being in control that I'm not so sure. I don't see him. Let's say he goes to the Knicks. I don't see how that's going to work. You know, I think Giannis is great when he has the ball in his hands like he did tonight, but he muffed away quite a few tonight, and he's an unusual athlete in the sport that he's got the control of the team like Steph Curry or Brunson, but he's not out front. He's underneath the hoop most of the time, and I'm starting to really believe this, that whatever team he goes to, I'm not so sure he's going to be able to turn it around. That's okay. In my household, that ship has sailed.
I understand the ship has sailed in your household, but I'm currently sitting in the Bucks household, so I'll just clarify.
Yeah, I know. I get it. I know. Yeah. I get it. You know, and with that said, I really wish he would stay, because what he means so much for this southeastern Wisconsin, the state of Wisconsin. But it's this article has straightened out some of my thinking on this. I don't know where ownership is. She pointed this out in there. Who's really leading this team? And she didn't come out and say this, but is it Giannis? Is it Horst? Is it the lack of ownership showing up? You know, like these guys used to be, and I used to watch all these games, and they'd always be on the court right next to the Bucks bench, and according to her, they'd be out in the hallway after the games and stuff. We haven't seen that. I mean, I've seen Edens maybe a couple of times. I haven't seen the Oil King here at all. He's still trying to mess up the Browns, apparently. It's just real disheartening for a guy that goes back to, I'm old enough to be when the Bucks were formed, you know, and it's hard to watch this. And one of the things I really want to come down on is any fans ever come out and say the Bucks blew this. Giannis left, and it's the Bucks management fault. There is no way in Hades that they didn't do anything and everything possible to keep him. Now, are they going to be wrong that they did this? Probably, but
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. It's just it's
Yep.
very disheartening to me. But
Yeah, they tried. They did everything they could. It's just the last two plus years now, the majority of those moves just didn't work. They didn't yield the results that you expected them to have.
yeah, they did everything they could.
So I'm guessing you don't see. Let's assume they're going to try to make the playoffs. I'm guessing you don't see that happen. The postseason, I'll clarify. The play-in tournament, you don't see that happening.
What do you think Orlando's going to be like tomorrow night? There was a possibility they could lose today, and they didn't. And now they come to Milwaukee knowing that if they win tomorrow night, there's so much better. It's not going to happen, you know. I'll be shocked if the Bucks could play. They were, I don't know if fortunate's the right word, but they played well enough tonight to win. But you know, as my wife pointed out tonight, says, you know, are these the two worst teams in the NBA? And you know what? I didn't know how to answer that question.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. When you think about it, when they were building up in the beginning of the game, I was like, yeah, this might be a 20, 25-point win, and it should have been. But it turned out not to be that way. And like you said, maybe in the second half, I feel bad for Kevin Love. What a way to, I mean, he's 37. Is he going to be picked up anyplace else? They're going to get rid of him, Utah, at the end of the year. And he's stuck there. It's sad.
Yeah, I don't have quite as much sympathy for Kevin Love as the guy that undercut Giannis in that first round series against the Miami Heat. But I do recognize your point. All right, Dick, thanks for the call. Always good to catch up with you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, bye-bye.
855-616-1620, the Siding Unlimited talk and text line to join us tonight on Bucks Talk. The Bucks knock off the Utah Jazz 113-99, but not just one. It's going to take more than one win. It's going to take a win streak here. But even that, is it too little too late for this group? 855-616-1620 is the Siding Unlimited talk and text line to join us. More after this on Bucks Talk.
This is Bucks Talk.
I think one of the things that patients don't realize is that when they get a joint replacement, that's not a lifetime treatment option. And they're probably, if they are a younger patient, signing up for multiple surgeries down the road.
As a physician and medical director for QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli's seen a pattern of trending joint pain. Prolonged medication, steroids, then surgery, possibly another surgery.
So a lot of our patients are trying to avoid or put off surgery, and this is the treatment that can help them do that.
QC Kinetics extracts your body's healing substances, concentrates them back into your aching joints to help heal and restore those areas, providing lasting relief.
Oh, I love being able to tell my patients, you know, before we do this surgery, let's try another option. Let's see if this is right for you, because now they might not have to have surgery at all.
Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-667-5559. That's 414-667-5559. 414-667-5559.
March into big savings at Exterior Pros and Baths. Refresh your home this season with energy-efficient windows, durable roofing, beautiful new siding, or a stunning bath remodel and get $3,000 off your project. That's $3,000 in instant savings during their March savings event. But this offer won't last long. Call 262-800-4274 or visit extpros.com today. Exterior Pros and Baths. Big savings done right.
Potential is like God's love. It lives within everyone and shows us that we are made for more. At Aug Prep, faith ignites excellence in academics, the arts, athletics, and every aspect of our lives. Students don't just realize their full potential, we learn to soar. The #1 K-12 school in Milwaukee is expanding to the North Shore and is now enrolling grades K4 through 6th and 9th. Og Prep North, made for more. Apply today at ogprep.org.
Hop on board the music tour of a lifetime. Vince Vitrano here. Join KB Excursions this spring. Visit Memphis and Nashville 6 days, 5 nights by Luxury Motor Coach. Tour Graceland. Walk on Beale Street. Backstage tour at the Grand Ole Opry, followed by dinner and a show. And so much more. This tour is booking now. Go to kbexcursions.com. Click on tours for the full itinerary. Graceland, Beale Street, the Grand Ole Opry with KB Excursions. kbexcursions.com.
Welcome back to Bucks Talk.
14-point home win tonight for the Bucks, taking down the Utah Jazz, a Jazz team that organizationally had no real interest in winning this game. As we said it during the broadcast too. I think we've talked about it on this show before, because you've heard everybody talk about tanking this season. Players do not tank. The players are not the ones that are tanking. The players, when they get out there, they're competitors. They're trying to win. They are playing their best. Also, why would a player want to, tank? Not even to get into the very dark side of conspiracy corners of throwing games in that sense of tanking. Why would a player want to tank to increase draft chances so you can get a better draft pick that could then in theory replace me? So when we talk about tanking and the Jazz not trying to win, it's coming down from above organizationally. It is not Will Hardy's decision to say, yeah, we're going to shut down Lauri Markkanen for the rest of the season. Oh, I think we just discovered something in the knee of Jaren Jackson Jr., so we're going to shut him down. I know he's the coach. It's not Will Hardy's decision to not play Keontae George in the fourth quarter, at least until the final couple of minutes of the game tonight. And they have routinely done that with other players so far this season. So understand that when we talk about tanking, that it comes from the organization and the front office and what is the direction that's given down of here's how we're going to approach this game. It was a team that was not going to let you lose this game, basically, was the reading on it. In the way that we saw them playing, the guys that were out there, it's been more of the same in what we've seen from the Utah Jazz this season. So you won. That's the important part. You should have won with the opponent and how they have approached these past couple of weeks. Tomorrow is the bigger tell, because that is a good opponent. That is an opponent that's playing for something, trying to win and playing for something, in the Orlando Magic, who have now climbed out of the play-in tournament and are into 6th place in the Eastern Conference. So what the Bucks show in that game is going to tell you a lot about what's left in the tank for this team and how they're going to approach the rest of the season. Because, look, at some point, if you do not make up any ground, then the conversation of how you approach the rest of the season does change. And the conversation over, well, Giannis's minutes restriction, do the minutes start to come down? Do the games start to come down? That becomes a valid question. We are technically not there yet. But, I've made this analogy before, too, and that I'm not going to sugarcoat and lie. You're not in a good spot right now. You are still mathematically alive for the postseason, but you're not in a favorable spot. And we've kind of, at this point of the season, reached the point where you're making the calls to the closest family members to tell them, I'm not saying it's going to happen today or really in the next week or so, but it doesn't look good right now. So I would get down here as soon as possible and be in this room with this person, is kind of what it feels like where we're at. Look, the next loss that you get, and especially if it comes on a night where the Atlanta Hawks and Charlotte Hornets win, that is going to be close to pushing it over the edge when we are down to sub 20 games left, and that margin, if it does not shrink, even if you just keep matching the pace, and that's the other part. It's not just you got to win games. You got to win games, and now you got to get some help. You need the Hawks and Hornets, at least one of those two teams. You need them to basically play 500 at best the rest of the way, which, looking at the standings, there's 60-plus games of a sample size that shows you, yeah, they've been playing much better of late, but this has been a 500 team for all of the season, basically. So it is entirely possible. But if they play 500, what does that mean you have to do? So we'll take a closer look at the schedule for both of those teams and those types of scenarios, too. Like, realistically, what is it going to take to get into the playoffs? And is that something we think this team can do? 855-616-1620, the Siding Unlimited Talk and text line to join us tonight on Bucks Talk. The schedule ahead for those two teams that the Bucks are chasing, we'll dig into that conversation next.
You're listening to Bucks Talk.
Family owned and operated. Yep, we sure are. Since 1970. And I know you've probably heard it a million times. But the words family owned and operated hold a lot of water. They mean you can count on dealing with an expert. Because when your dad runs the show, he teaches you all that he knows. They mean prompt service. Because it's not just our job, it's a big part of our life. They mean you're actually working with someone who has accountability and a real interest in your satisfaction and their business's overall success. So when you hear businesses say the words family-owned and operated, give them a try, because small business owners like us really do have your best interest in mind. And when you need advice from Southeastern Wisconsin's foremost glass experts, call me. This is Stacy Sinks with Less's Glass Service. If it's a new glass shower door, fogged or broken insulated glass replacement, or affordable glass and mirror home decor that you've been looking for, you just can't pass on Less's Glass. Less's Glass Service, serving all of Southeastern Wisconsin. Find us at lessglassservice.com.
Are you a fraud-paying American? 1 in 4 tax-paying Americans have been victim of identity fraud. With LifeLock, your identity, if it's stolen, they fix it guaranteed or your money back. And last year, billions in refunds were stolen. Could be from your salary, overtime, or second job. Gone. But this year, you don't need to stay a victim. Because this tax season, fraud-paying American is something no American should have to claim. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms do apply.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
Hey, John Mercure here for Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. Their mission is to transform the culture of care. They specialize in caring for those with early to late-stage Alzheimer's or other related dementia symptoms, and they offer early memory loss classes to help you. They specialize in this area. It's kindness at the core, locations throughout southeast Wisconsin. It's compassion, it's empathy. It's Wisconsin-based and family-owned, always welcoming people to come tour and welcome their new residents. I've seen their places. They're top-notch. It's Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living.
The Roundball Repartee returns. This is Bucks Talk.
$113-99 final. The Bucks take down the Utah Jazz tonight inside of Fiserv Forum. But still a lot of work to do to catch those teams in front of you in the Eastern Conference standings. 855-616-1620 is the Siding Unlimited Talk and text line to join us tonight on the show. Let's head back to the phone lines and check in with Aaron in Uruguay. You're up next.
You got it. Justin, your line of "get here, time is running out," come visit them, was one of the funniest I've ever heard. And it's very apt. But this whole season has been kind of strange, very strange. But and with the, I don't know if you can comment on it, but the Doc rumors. It really influences like how we see the rest of the season. Like, oh, what is Giannis going to do? And we know that's been hanging over the whole season. But seeing a game like this, I only got to watch the recap of it, but it seemed like, as Doc likes to say, the ball was moving. It seemed like Jericho was involved, Giannis was involved, Kuzma was involved. It shows like what could be. And you throw the Giannis consistent injury for the rest for this season, like maybe he doesn't push it as hard, and maybe we not shut it down, but maybe we slow it down and look forward to next season. Maybe this does give us something to look forward to next season. But for this season, it's tough to say what could happen. I'm looking forward to what can happen this season, but tonight's game was a lot of fun to watch. I don't know. With that, I just like the line that you laid out tonight. It was so much fun. But the game tonight was fun, and it gives us a little bit of, not red to look forward to.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for the call, Aaron. And there was a lot of ball movement. I mean, they had 33 assists in the game, and your leading assist man was Ousmane Dieng. So I think early what stood out was this new starting lineup, and I do still think you saw the flaws of it a couple of times early. But this new starting lineup, it was guys that were looking to get the ball into the hands of Giannis, especially in transition. That there's at least 3 times tonight where you looked at a transition play setting up, and it was Giannis and 2 other guys that were basically at the same level with him, which how many times have we seen that? It's always just been, there's Giannis, get him the ball. And now there's other guys out there running with him. What you did really miss, though, and I know this is polarizing, is the spacing of A.J. Green. And I think, strangely, we saw basically Ryan Rollins being the guy a couple of times that was brought out of the game at the expense of A.J. Green, because you need that spacing. And there's a couple of times when Kyle Kuzma did a great job of cutting, but Giannis would get into the paint and look for some open shooters. He found Kuzma in the corner for 1 3 that did not fall. And then other times you just saw Utah saying, we'll let him shoot. We're just going to stay here at the elbow. We're going to stay here in the paint. We're going to pack the paint. So good luck. And you didn't have quite as much shooting around Giannis in those spots. So that's the one thing that they miss. Otherwise, I liked that group and really the notion, too, when they did lift Ryan Rollins for AJ and saying, well, Giannis is our point guard. So we don't need to worry about that aspect of it. We've got, especially Jericho in the minutes that he played with Giannis, we got guys that are going to hold up defensively, that can switch, and now we're bringing in some more shooting with A.J. Green. So in that sense, there were positive takeaways from this one tonight. And again, the big thing is how you carry that over into tomorrow's game. For one guy in particular, too, how you carry it over and what we've started to see here in the last, basically 20 games now. He has been one of these standout performers. We'll get into Jericho Sims' impact coming up after this.
The Hardwood Homilies continue after this. This is Bucks Talk.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-939-2525. That's 800-939-2525. 800-939-2525.
My husband's an animal in bed.
Well, you know.
Not in the fun way. Think warthog. With a chainsaw.
Snoring and sleep apnea affect over 90 million people, and 1 out of 4 couples sleep in separate rooms. Advent can help. We've been Milwaukee's one-stop solution for nasal congestion, snoring, and sleep apnea for over 20 years. Unlike many other practices, we focus exclusively on these conditions, so you get comprehensive care under one roof. Advent's unique approach can help you breathe and sleep better, and many avoid a CPAP. Plus, most insurance is accepted for our effective 20-minute in-office treatments.
Hey, the only animal you want in your bed is your dog.
Advent. Sleep better. Sleep together. Learn how you can improve your life at AdventKnows.com.
We see you out there doing things your way. So why shop the same retail giants as everyone else? We've supplied generations of farms and families with the trusted products you want and need at unbeatable farm and fleet prices. Like assorted Mobile Delvac diesel oil starting at $9.99 after $5 rebate, $2 off assorted Kalmbach poultry feed, and Krylon farm and implement paint 25% off. In-store and online, we've got the value you need to do things your way. Blaine's Farm and Fleets, being original.
This is Bucks Talk.
113-99 final here inside of Fiserv Forum. The Bucks take down the Utah Jazz and now get set for night 2 of a back-to-back tomorrow against the Orlando Magic. I said we'd talk about Jericho Sims. We'll probably save that for tomorrow when we have a bit more time to really dig into everything that stood out about Jericho. But he was terrific again tonight. 30 minutes that he played. Not quite the volume of rebounds that we've seen in recent games, but the team is a clearly better rebounding team in the minutes he's on the floor. And he's allowed them to do some things differently defensively as well. But to get back to one of the other discussions, I said we'll take a look ahead to the schedule for those teams that you're chasing, the Atlanta Hawks and the Charlotte Hornets. And there's one key takeaway in comparing the schedule of all three of these teams, the Bucks, the Hawks, and the Hornets. We'll wrap the show with that discussion coming up after this on Bucks Talk.
This is Bucks Talk.
Heart disease won't stop us. Diabetes, allergies, cancer. Nothing will keep the Froedtert and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network from pushing Wisconsin ahead. We're constantly raising the bar for medical excellence and providing more ways to receive it, so you have it for all your health needs, big and small. Let's push ahead, and we'll make life here as great as it can be. Visit Froedtert.com to find out how.
Struggling to provide for your family is a real thing, like having to choose between feeding them a warm meal or paying the utility bill. These are the choices many Milwaukee residents are faced with, which is why they turn to St. Vincent de Paul Society's meal program for help. Our meal program has been a consistent resource for those in need for over 42 years. Nutritious meals, warm showers, and clean clothes, all in a safe, family-friendly environment. Our mission is clear, and that's to help you break the cycle of poverty by connecting you with life-changing community and educational resources. Last year, we provided $2.2 million in goods and services, plus 57,000 warm meals. If you or anyone you know needs a warm evening meal, you can find us at Harambe Kitchen 5 nights a week on the northeast side of Milwaukee in the basement of All People's Church. And at Crossroads Kitchen on the south side of Milwaukee 6 nights a week on 9th and Madison. As always, we're grateful for community members and volunteers who help us help you. To learn more, visit svdpmilw.org.
March into big savings at Exterior Pros and Baths. Refresh your home this season with energy-efficient windows, durable roofing, beautiful new siding, or a stunning bath remodel and get $3,000 off your project. That's $3,000 in instant savings during their March savings event. But this offer won't last long. Call 262-800-4274 or visit extpros.com today. Exterior Pros and Baths. Big savings done right.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
Welcome back to Bucks Talk.
So really, here's the thing you need to know about the schedule for these three teams, the Bucks, the Hawks, and the Hornets. Atlanta and Charlotte each have 18 games remaining this season. The Bucks have 20 games left. Atlanta's remaining schedule, the teams on there carry a .495 win percentage. For the Bucks, it's .493. And for the Charlotte Hornets, it's .513. So Charlotte has the most difficult remaining schedule of the three, but I will also tell you that fluctuates every couple of days. Like the Bucks had the 7th easiest schedule remaining in the league coming into today. Once you remove one of those Utah games, it drops down to the 12th easiest remaining schedule. So that's the impact of these games. But in the case of Charlotte, they have 2 games left against Sacramento. The way Charlotte has been playing, you just have to assume they're going to take care of business against those lowly type teams. They have 2 games against Sacramento, 1 game against Indiana, 1 game against Brooklyn, 1 game against Memphis, and 1 game against Portland, although Portland is going to be in the play-in tournament. That's the easiest games left on the schedule. They still got 2 with the Celtics and the newly returned Jason Tatum. They got the Spurs on the schedule. They got the Minnesota Timberwolves. They've got 2 with the Knicks. The Hawks have the big one with the Bucks next Saturday in Atlanta. Other than that, 2 with Brooklyn, 2 with Dallas, 1 with the Kings, 1 with the Grizzlies. In terms of difficult schedules or games, the Pistons, 2 with the Celtics, the Knicks, 2 with the Cavs, 2 with the Magic yet. They have much more difficult remaining games than the Bucks and fewer easy remaining games than the Bucks do. So, again, win games, and that's how you get back into the conversation. Tomorrow night's the Bucks and the Orlando Magic. That's a 7 o'clock tip-off. 6:30 is when our pregame coverage begins. And as always, be sure to stick around after the game for Bucks Talk. We'll talk with you once again tomorrow night.
When you've thrown over 4,000 innings like I have, you know joint pain isn't a maybe, it's a guarantee. For you, was it climbing ladders or too much heavy lifting? Hey, we're all in the same boat. But surgery,